many different things that they do. They could be experimenting with alcohol, for example, going out into the city and having a few too many drinks.
Is mental health a big conversations you are having? And then what kind of conversations are, is it one-to-one, in a group setting? And then what style of conversations you're having with them?
Mental health is huge for that generation. Having those support guidelines there is really important for us to be able to support the tenants when they come to us for anything. And our job is also to see what is not normal for a particular person.
As somebody is coming who has never lived in Australia and they're coming into a student accommodation with, a lot of people from different countries coming over, what are the first few things they are struggling with?
Could be English as a second language for them. They can speak English, they just don't have the confidence to do so yet because they've just landed in Australia. Second language for them is generally the biggest struggle.
What are the key elements when you are having these, one-to-one conversations with people? What do you see to, which impacts your role positively?
Connection. And being able to have that impact on someone's life.
Before we get started, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode of our cutting-edge contemporary conversations. Thank you.
Welcome, Tara. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Doing very well. And thank you for your time today. And could we start with a bit more of your background and work experience and your journey through your younger self to running a student accommodation service these days?
Yeah, well, I kind of fell into it, into student accommodation. Basically, I did my degree after high school in Australia, and while I was studying, and that was teaching, I got a random email from the university to say they were looking for some supervisors to manage their student accommodation halls. And I thought, well, what a great opportunity. And I took it home, and I was living at home at the time, and I was studying in Fremantle, and I lived in Warnbro, which is a bit south from Rockingham. So I would travel each day, and that was very normal. I was very happy with that. But taking up this role as a residential assistant at the university, it would mean I'd have to move out of home. And I was 20 at that time. I thought this would be a really good stepping stone for me to move out of home from my parents, move to somewhere that's kind of safe, do a job as well, and also take on the opportunity to learn a few more skills and meet some new people. So I did it, and I did it for a year and a half and absolutely loved it. And basically that meant I continued doing my degree at the university, and I worked there part-time, and I had another job working part-time as well. And I lived with 39 other people, met people from all over the world. And my job was to do some evening shifts, basically. And we did on-call duties throughout the night just to make sure everything was running smoothly. And if anything did happen, we could step up and help. So that's how I started. And I finished my degree, teaching degree. And I got offered another opportunity at the time, and it wasn't in teaching. And I thought, well, I'll take this opportunity and go back into teaching. So I left that role in the university and went and took that opportunity. And the opportunity was managing a complex. And after doing that for about 2 years, I just had this urge to do better, to feel, to help people. I had no idea where it came from. I just wanted to help people in a different way. And I kept reflecting on my experience at the university. And all of a sudden, a new role came up, which was managing the full student accommodation program at the same university I'd previously worked in. So I definitely had some experience, and I thought this really could be it for me. And I went through the interview process, and they had done a full restructure of their student accommodation department. And I thought that this just suited me and what that feeling was, and I got it. And basically I started the journey of their student accommodation department and setting it all up and finding better ways to support international students and study abroad students and domestic students that wanted to study at the university. It was a small program, quite small compared to what is around Australia and definitely the world. But it really got me on my feet in the industry, and I loved it so much that I figured I actually think this is what I want to do for my life, for my career. And I know I had my teaching background, which was actually early childhood, so the babies. But I'm now in university student world. So I decided to take the opportunity to figure out if this was what I wanted to set myself up for. But at the time, this was back in 2012, I didn't really have the opportunity in Western Australia because there wasn't really many jobs going in Western Australia, but there was over on the East Coast. So student accommodation was quite a lot bigger on the East Coast and still is. And so I took the opportunity to apply for another job, and I did that in Toowoomba. And so I flew over there and I covered someone's 12 months maternity leave. And I just thought that was a great time to really make sure that this was it for me. Did it, and that was quite a larger operation. So I had about 450 students living there in Toowoomba. And that was a university-owned student accommodation as well. And again, absolutely loved it. And I had that flexibility at that age to be able to go over and do it. And then I took another job after that because the person that I was covering did come back off maternity leave. And I went to Canberra next. And I managed a college there. And that was about 400 students as well.
Wow.
And again, absolutely loved it, but different experiences. So with student accommodation, there's 3 different sectors. You've got university owned, which I'd done in Toowoomba and also here. And then there is college, which is usually church-based. And then there is purpose-built student accommodation, which is what I'm in now. So when I was over in Canberra, I was there for about 2.5 years. And I just got this pull to come back home. And I was actually at a conference, which is within the sector. It's called APSA. And there was some chats going on about Perth expanding student accommodation. I thought, well, this could be good. And then I got a phone call to say, hey, look, there's a new purpose-built student accommodation going to be built in Perth, and we're looking for a general manager. And did I want to have a chat? So I had a chat and had the great opportunity to be a general manager of that first purpose-built student accommodation in Perth.
Wow.
That we opened that building in 2019. And that was a struggle. It was a big struggle because it was new to the industry, and then COVID hit. But it was so enjoyable. It was still doing everything that I love with the tenants and the students in that journey. And now I'm in another student purpose-built accommodation building in the CBD, and again, still love it. And I love what I do because everything is so different day by day. You never know what's going to hit you. So you just kind of have to go with the flow. And that's why I love what I do, and I love who I'm around and my team. They're just amazing.
Well, thank you for sharing the story. From a teaching degree to running an accommodation, they're 2 separate spaces, whereas probably similar, managing 500 residents versus managing a classroom.
Yeah.
So how do your education background, keeps you, brings you in, gives you those skills to run these accommodation settings?
To be honest, I think the teaching degree is the best degree to do. It really does set you up in a vast majority of kind of situations. So I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. I still have a love for teaching, but this is probably more suited for me right now. Will I go back to teaching? Maybe. Could do, but every single skill that I had learnt for my teaching degree set me up to where I am now, and I can set myself up in pretty much a lot of jobs based on my experience of doing a teaching degree.
As you are growing in your career and as you are taking, bigger and broader roles, what do you think in that career growth, what kind of skills became, so you have a set of skills and what became majors and one became minors. So as you started, leaning on to what skills were you leaning on to more as you grew in your career?
Working with people became incredibly more important. And I think that's the same in teaching. But for student accommodation and working with university-aged people, they have a new need in their life that you are there to support them. And even working with the team to back them up and support them and give them the skills to be able to do their job to then impact other people in their lives has been the biggest aspect that I've really learnt on more so. And I do that every day in my job. I'm kind of in a position now which is sometimes I love, sometimes I love a little bit less, where I'm more so in the office. And a lot of my staff are the front-facing staff. And I love that because I get to really talk to my team and hear from all different angles the different things that the community are doing and how we can support them. Whereas when I'm front facing and really talking with the individuals, you really get that impact one-on-one as well. So yeah, that's probably what I would say also.
Managing that many, residents in one big building will create comedies of error or errors from a comedy.
Yeah.
So what have you seen those happening? Any stories?
Are we talking about errors from the tenant's perspective?
Yes. Either ways. Either ways.
Look, we really focus on the Generation Z. And the best thing is that we're there to support them. Now, they don't know how to do their laundry usually when they get to us. They don't know how to clean. They really struggle to really blossom and need that guidance at times. So we're there to support them, and they may have a time where they're really homesick or they're really just struggling at university. And you'll see that error of judgment come through. And there could be many different things that they do. They could be experimenting with alcohol, for example, going out to the city and having a few too many drinks and then coming back and maybe tipping over a plant pot and then going back up to their room. And then when we see that, we're like, okay, who's had this fun tonight? And we're then able to engage conversation with them to say, hey, look, what happened in this situation? We're not telling them off, but we're able to talk to them and say, hey, look, well maybe that amount of alcohol for you was not okay. And you need to probably readjust that. Okay, you need to pay for the cleaning fee or you need to clean up this mess. But having those conversations then helps them develop in life as well. And we do the same in pretty much every aspect of our roles. And a simple, clear one for what we do is in a normal rental, you would see inspections, they would usually go and look at the skirting boards and under rugs and stuff like that. But for us, we're more using that experience as a learning curve. We're trying to teach them how to scrub a toilet properly and that's not acceptable. And this is the chemicals you might want to use, or this is how you can do it. So we're really setting them up in their life. Basic
skills of surviving.
Yeah.
In terms of as you said also that because that's a big chunk of people living on the same roof and people will on and off feel homesick. And is mental health a big conversations you are having? And then what kind of conversations are, is it one-to-one, in a group setting? And then what style of conversations you're having with them?
Mental health is huge for that generation. I'm a mental health instructor, for example, and we do always have those conversations with our staff to be able to support our tenants at all times. We provide, and most student accommodation providers will have some sort of support for mental health. And if that is connections with counsellors or university departments, Sonder, for example, is a great wellbeing app that tenants can access. Having those support guidelines there is really important for us to be able to support the tenants when they come to us for anything. And our job is also to see what is not normal for a particular person. So we'll observe them come in and out and have general conversations with us each day, and then pick up that one day or a couple of days where they're a bit off and they're not talking, or they just seem a bit disconnected. So the staff are able to pick those points up and maybe then engage with them to say, are you going okay? Is there anything we can do to support you? And then provide some networks for them, and try to help them in whatever it could be. And that could be homesickness, it could be a breakup, it could just be that their course is just not the one that they want, and they just don't know how to go about it. And they're not yet comfortable to talk to anybody at university, but having staff around their home or people that they see every day smile at them, for example, they feel that they could probably just have that small conversation with them. So yeah, we have them on a daily basis. And
I think which means that most of your staff members would be trained to have those conversations in some way or form.
Yeah.
As somebody is coming who has never lived in Australia and they're coming into a student accommodation with a lot of people from different countries coming over. What are the first few things they are struggling with? Probably the first month or so should be challenging, I would assume so. And then what are those things people are struggling with?
A lot of things, to be honest. It is a huge culture shock for a lot of people. Some people set themselves up a little bit more than others, and they just don't know what to expect. We try to assist them in every way we can before they arrive, but then the day they arrive, we also want to be there to support them. So it could be English as a second language for them. They can speak English, they just don't have the confidence to do so yet because they've just landed in Australia. So a lot of the times it's just trying to help them grow that confidence, which we can do that with them. Most of the time being Australian speaking, I need to slow down and speak to them a lot slower. But the second language for them is generally the biggest struggle. Setting themselves up and home-wise for us, we make it easy. The furniture's there, their bed's there. We let them know where to grab some sheets for their bed or some cooking supplies, or how to order Uber Eats or their first meal. Having those things set up on that first day for them, it makes things a little bit easier. Moving on, if they're here to study or trying to set themselves up to live, it's usually student cards, how to use the public transport, how to make friends even. So being able to provide them with that information, or even segues to do all of that, is really helpful.
And from a Gen Z point of view, because that's the majority of the people who you are, what are the things they are more keen in doing? Because city has a lot to explore, and what kind of things they are focusing on beyond education?
They want to get out and experience the culture. They really are intrigued, and they're here for a reason. They are wanting to study. That is important to them. they want to get out and see the kangaroos and the koalas. They want to experience the beaches. They want to see what's in the CBD. And they're able to go out pretty easily if they're in the CBD to do that, because of our public transport is pretty good coming out of the CBD.
Yeah.
We offer events, which allows them a really easy segue to go out and do things. So as an example, we provide volunteering sessions where we'll set all of that up for them in the back end, and then they have the ability just to register and say, yep, I want to volunteer. And then we will take them to the volunteering place and they can spend the day there volunteering and then set up the next steps if they want to continue volunteering. But providing those opportunities is really good for them to start something. And often they do want to continue. They then have the ability to go, okay, I want to do that every Thursday, or I want to do that every couple of weeks, which is really nice.
And as you talked about events, can you explore more on the events and what kind of events you are running beyond volunteering as well?
Yeah, so we try and have a vast range of events. We want to do things where they can learn new skills. We want to provide them with new opportunities. We want to provide them with things that they probably have never done before, but then also, and finally, and quite importantly, provide that opportunity to build a community and to make new friends. That's one of the sole things that we do in student accommodation is really we want them to make those connections with people, lifelong connections a lot of the time. So for the events in particular, as I said, volunteering is a big one. We have done deep sea fishing, we have done farm visits, we've done perfume making classes. I know you've had Seva on some of your podcasts. We've had him in doing an influencer session as well. We've had a lot of people in to come and provide guidance in regards to setting up your own business, or if you want to be a personal influencer, how to do that. Entrepreneur sessions, for example, podcasting sessions, really anything. Wow. And our building is set up so you provide options to people that wouldn't necessarily have those options in their own home.
From your point of view, your personal journey in terms of career, what do you think in a way of managing people? As you said, people skills, one of the key one, you need to manage, understand more of that. What are the key elements when you are having these, one-to-one conversations with people? What do you see to, which impacts your role positively? What kind of skills within the people skills? What do you think is more powerful for you?
Just the connection and being able to have that impact on someone's life. That one conversation can really make a difference. And I think that knowing that and knowing that you have 500 people in the building that may just need a smile on one day is really important. And sometimes we need to just stop and realise that. And I'm glad that we can do that for a lot of people.
And I've observed people who are having a lot of conversations from a mental health point of view with a lot of people. But they're also not caring for themselves most of the time. They are caring for others. So how does that go for you? And how does that work for you?
The students and
as in when somebody who's taking care of a lot of people or having those conversations from a mental health point of view with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the person who they ignore is themselves. And in this journey, how is this one, your own mental health when you are working in the spaces?
You need to keep that as number one priority. And definitely for me, I've learned a lot throughout my life in regards to mental health, either my own personal journey through friends or family, and now observing it from a lot of other people. you've got to constantly make sure that you are doing what is right for you and you are in the right headspace. So for me, I know what my triggers are and I know what I need to do when I'm feeling a little bit heavy, I guess. And for me, that's sleep. I really do need to just spend the time and just recoup that way. I'm very thankful that I have that knowledge. And for me, I am now in the position where for my team, I need to ensure that they are looking out for themselves as well. And that they make sure that they do their own self-care. But then also when we're having these conversations with our tenants, that we're putting that knowledge onto them too, because a lot of them are supporting their friends and family and letting them know the importance of self-care. And when they're going through exams, and it's a tough time during exams, that they need to ensure that they go for a walk on the beach or they do that one thing that they really enjoy in life.
And that's a good tool to hibernate. To hibernate for boom, I'm gone. There's nobody, you don't think anything. Or do you think a lot? Do you dream a lot? I think it's good to have a tool. Not everybody has tools to access when they are, as you said, feeling heavy or feeling challenged in some way or form. How has that evolution within you? How did you end up finding that solution? You have tried multiple other options before finding the right one. For me, it is probably having an empty afternoon or an evening, so it's more quiet. Or you're doing nothing. You just just breezing through the afternoon. And I like my walks in the city on Friday afternoons because I think people are more happy in the city on Fridays, and especially afternoons. So you see more smiling faces. So as you go for a walk in the CBD, it just feels more happy. So that's one of the way I deal with take a break and go for a walk. So I think it's good to, and if you can share your story, how do you end up having that as a tool?
Well, I think just like everybody, you have your ups and downs. University is difficult. I know from some of the challenges in my own life, I haven't coped with them very well. When I started my student accommodation career, my first management job, I did suffer because I was handling so many other people's problems. And at that particular time, I did have a student that was considering suicide. And I was a big carer for her, and the university reacted very well as well. But personally, I hadn't yet learned my adequate skills. And that drained me, and I ended up having a burnout. And it was really tough. But that allowed me to really focus on myself and grow from it. And I did take the time, and the university allowed me to take the time to work through it. And I did, and I'm very grateful for that experience younger. Because now I am in the position that I'm in, and I think I'm much stronger for it. But also it allows me to consider other people when they're going through big challenges or supporting other people, because I don't want anyone to get to that point. It wasn't a nice feeling. I was able to get out of it, but I really don't want other people to have to go through that. So if I can support my staff or other people that are supporting other people to allow them to not go into that space, then that is a good thing for me.
I think we assume suicidal ideation is not very uncommon, but I think it's fairly, when you talk to people at more of a conversation level, you would not realize that, and this person is all put up well, and in the end you end up having that conversation, and it just because I was having one conversation with a friend of mine, and he's been working in that space for long, as in his workspace, and then he randomly dropped that idea that after this thing I don't know what to do with my life. And then that was a very difficult, somebody puts that on the table, and then it's just a difficult conversation to have. What do you do? But thank you for sharing. Before I want to ask you another concluding question in terms of, for people who are trying to get into student accommodation, as you know, it's a very crowded market or very competitive market. Now, how do you get understanding or get into that line? Yes, you were landing, but if somebody has to choose that kind of a career, what would they do?
Career, so working in student accommodation or living in student accommodation? Working. Give it a go. A lot of my staff were actually residents of student accommodation. It is a small career in Western Australia. We are growing. Over east, there are a lot more student accommodation facilities. But yeah, I think understanding what student accommodation is and the benefits of it is really quite important. A lot of people don't know what we do. They just feel like we do check-ins and the check-outs and make sure the lights are on during the day. That's the small part of what we actually do as staff in student accommodation. So as long as they understand the impact that we do have and why we're there and why it's so important to us, then yeah, explore it. I definitely encourage people to do so.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.